Firefighter badge.
And in 5,
Sticker badge.
4, 3, 2, 1. Roll the open.
Hello and welcome to Weekend Double. I'm Gerald. That's Nick. How you doing, Nick?
It's the best day of the Derby prep season in my mind. It's one of my
they're
favorites.
They're getting better every week. We have 3 Derby preps today. Right now, we're just going to cover the Gotham. Then we'll be back twice more for the Fountain of Youth at Gulfstream and the Santa Anita and the San Felipe at Santa Anita later. But right now, it's the Gotham. We had a scratch in the Gotham, the one scorching scratch. So it's going to be a field of 9. I'll go over the field real quick and I'll let you add something in later. So the 1 is scorching. Scorching is scratch. The 2 is Normandy Coast. First last time out in a 6 furlong allowance race at Fairgrounds. Ben Curtis is the jockey for Eddie Keneally. The 3 is Calling Card. 8th last time out in the Sloppy Lecomte. Won by Disco Time. Kendrick Carmouche rides for Michael Maker. 4 is Sacrosanct. 4 for 4. This one's 4 for 4. First last time out in a 7 furlong New York Stallion Great White Way. Manny Franco gets the mount for Brad Cox. 5 is Sand Devil. This one's also undefeated. 3 for 3. Last time out in a 7 furlong Damon Runyon. This one's by Violence. Jose Lescano is on board for Linda Rice. The 6 is Pagode. First last time out in a debut. 6.5 furlong maiden special weight on the synthetic at Turfway Park. Tries 2 turns for the first time. This one's by Constitution. The 7 is Flood Zone. First time last out in a 6.5 furlong maiden special weight at Gulfstream Park. This one's lightly raced. Raylu Gutierrez is aboard for Brad Cox. This one's by Frosted. The 8 is McAfee. Second last time out in a 1 mile at Churchill Downs after winning his debut at 6 furlongs also at Churchill Downs. You know, that means a lot to me. This one's trained by Richard Detro. The 9 is Garamond. Won his debut 6.5 furlong at Tampa Bay Downs. Javier Castellano gets the ride for Chad Brown. This one's by Uncle Mo. And the 10 is My Matoli, my little secret monster, My Matoli. First last time out in a 1 mile race at Aqueduct. So that's the field of 9. I'll let you know who I like, but I'll go ahead and let you add something in here.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from the 4 and the 5 Sacrosanct and Sand Devil. Both New York breds, both only beat New York breds in their entire racing career, but as you say, undefeated, and both look really good. It's a very interesting race, though, as you get to the 3 Calling Card, who I was talking to you about earlier, scratched out of the John Battaglia last week at Turfway, and then ships up here. And the same with the 6 Pagoda. Paul Lobo and Luan Machado, who are big connections at Turfway. Machado's giving up all of his mounts today at Turfway to come ride, I think, this one race. I'm going to double check here in a second, but they must think something of this horse. I mean, he's not getting bet at all, but kind of an interesting one. And I have notes on this, that this was a pretty decent field that he beat in his debut. And then the other one that I can't get away from it is Brad Cox. Just took over training for this horse on the 7 Flood Zone. I don't think there's anything there. He's a Florida bred shipping up from Gulfstream Park here. Maybe he just, came up with some other horse that Cox had, but it's a Frosted out of a Curlin mare. Always a little interesting. And you're my Matoli. I'm going to fall for it again. But it keeps coming off a layoff. So it finally gets to run 2 in a row. So maybe something there, but coming out of a starter allowance, I'm going to put 3rd in a trifecta just so I don't feel too dumb when you go and beat me again. And then that 9, which also I think is more of an underneath play. Half of these horses I've talked about, I think, are more underneath plays. Is an Uncle Mo out of a Tappet mare. Is a Chad Brown that debuted at Tampa at 4-5 and then shipping up here. Like, Tampa Derby's next week. Why would they come here for 50 points when he already proved that he won at Tampa? So I feel like Chad Brown has some reason for going up to New York here. So, I would include kind of everywhere other than the top spot where I have the 4 and the 5 kind of on top, and then, pick a number at the filling out the trifecta.
Well, I think Sand Devil and Sacrosanct are going to be tough to beat, but I think I'm going to go with Sand Devil. I think Sand Devil is going to be a little bit better in the stretch. Could be a speed duel up front. That's why I'm going to use my Matoli underneath. So I'm going to go with Sand Devil on top, my Matoli, and Sacrosanct underneath, second and third, and my trifecta. My Matoli is my long shot play, and Sand Devil is my money back guarantee. Here we go. Good luck, Nick.
Here's Sand Devil. Garamond. My Matoli. Last to load to the outside. My Matoli goes in. All set for the Gotham. And they're off. Sacrosanct broke well. So did Sand Devil in between horses, but they're both going to take back as here's Flood Zone towards the outside. Flood Zone is the leader. Flood Zone is drifting out, way out there towards the far outside of the racetrack as they get set to come out of the chute. Here at the rail, that's Normandy Coast is going to be close to the early pace as they're tightly bunched now. Sand Devil's in the tube path as they really slacken off the tempo. My Matoli is going to be 4 wide. Nobody really wants the front right now. It's Normandy Coast. Sand Devil in between horses, 3 wide. That's Flood Zone. Another lineup of 3 in behind as Sacrosanct is now a shared 4th and 5th. As right there is Garamond out wider. My Matoli, that's the leading 6. In behind them comes McAfee, who's in 7th. Calling Card is 8th, and the trailer, the back end of the field is Pagode. 23 and 4 for the opening quarter mile. Normandy Coast is going to hold the rail, but Sand Devil's now put a nose in front, is in the tube path, and Sand Devil starts to inch clear. 47 and 4 was the half-mile time. Flood Zone is ready to challenge towards the outside. Sacrosanct is under a full drive, is trying to cut into the margin, but is far back. It's Flood Zone to the outside. Sand Devil's battling on. My Matoli is ranging up 3 wide. Garamond is looking for a way through. McAfee is launching a rally from the back of the pack. Pagode, Sacrosanct trying to run on 2. They reach the top of the stretch, and Sand Devil's trying to keep the undefeated streak going. Flood Zone is challenging towards the outside, but the gutsy New York bred is battling on, but Flood Zone is now edging clear. Here's Flood Zone out in the center of the racetrack. Garamond is trying to make up some ground. Also, My Matoli. Sand Devil's battling on, but Flood Zone is now weaving through the stretch, but Flood Zone is best. Flood Zone is going to win the Gotham. Flood Zone wins it over Sand Devil, Garamond, and My Matoli in 1 minute 39.62 seconds.
I didn't see that one. You did.
No,
it's
a Florida. Yeah, it's a Florida bred. So why would Brad Cox ship it up here? I guess for that. I guess I don't know. Yeah, that's something.
139.62. Not impressed with the time.
It's not bad for Aqueduct this time of year, but it's a mile. There's definitely no way that any of these horses are going to the Derby, but doesn't mean that they aren't some sort of, Saratoga type runners. I imagine Flood Zone goes back down to Florida and crushes in some Florida Stakes type, Florida bred type races, I guess.
17-1 over 7-5 over 5-1 over 23-1.
Great call on kicking the 4 out, who I think finished last. And My Matoli looked like he almost had a way of getting up to 3rd there, but well, maybe not as close as I was thinking.
I think he should have taken more of an inside route. I think that longer, the wide route hurt him a little bit, but he just wasn't as good as the top 2 for sure.
Yeah. I don't know how good those top 2 actually are, but
I think Sand Devil's pretty good, but for the Derby, maybe not.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he was getting a little tired there. Gave it his all here, but then the last 200 yards. Let's see if the jockey kind of he's still running.
He's trying to hold on for a second, I think.
Yeah. He's still running.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say 139 just doesn't impress me.
For sure. Yeah. I am somewhat interested, though, in that it is, like I said, they were previously trained by Victor Barboza, who then, probably doesn't have an owner's or trainer's license in New York. So,
Order
they
finish.
decided to
First to
ship
7,
it up
Flood
to
Zone.
New York in this race.
7, 5,
It is a
6.
mile race, so maybe there just wasn't a mile race for them to go to in Florida, I guess. I don't know. Like, Tampa Bay Derby is next week. I don't know why you wouldn't just go there. Like I say, they won, so that's probably why. But it is an interesting breeding. A frosted out of a Curlin mare just feels like maybe it can get longer. I don't know if it's going to be fast enough, but it's only its third career race, so maybe there's something here.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I overlooked this one. Only 2 races under the belt. I thought it needed another race, and I was wrong. I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't think. I should have given the Brad Cox entry a little bit more weight. But Flood Zone is in the Derby if he wants to be. He gets 50 points, and Sand Devil picks up 25. I don't believe Sand Devil had any points coming in,
Nope.
or if he did, a very few.
Nope, he did not.
Yeah, and then Garamond did not have any, and my Matoli, I believe, did not have any. I didn't see who was 5th, but yeah, not putting too much weight on this race. The next race I'm a little more interested in, the Fountain of Youth, which we'll be covering in about 30 minutes. So we'll wrap this one up here. Any closing thoughts there? Kind of is what it is.
This is why you don't play Aqueduct in February, is because nonsense like this happens more frequently than not. I was looking at all my notes, and I've watched way too many podcasts, or watched me YouTube videos, listened to many podcasts, and I don't think a single person even mentioned this horse was running in the race, let alone picking it. So kind of a out of nowhere one here. So congrats to them. I don't can't take anything away from them. They won convincingly, so I hope they cashed on a $37 winner.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what this one does the next time out, Flooded. But that's it for the Gotham. We'll be back for the Fountain of Youth, and I think it's about an hour, right? It's about, I believe it's at 2:44 our time.
Yeah, so hour
Yeah,
and 15 minutes.
So we'll be back in about a little bit over an hour on YouTube. Check the schedule, and then we'll be back again later for the San Felipe. So that's it. Flooded wins the Gotham Stakes. San Devil is second. What'd I say?
Flooded.
Oh, Flood Zone.
Flood
Flood Zone wins the Gotham. San Devil comes in second. Garamond third. Matoli fourth. And maybe I'll flood myself with a drink while we're on our break. All right, that's it. We'll see you in about an hour.